And with that being said, a lot of people want to be married, but don't understand the concept of being married. Some people, it's just in la la land. I want to be married because my friend married. I want to be married because I'm the only one in my family, and that was me. I was the only sister out of all the children my dad had that was not married for a long time. So this is my third marriage and hopefully final marriage in Jesus' name. And so my concept of marriage is a union between a man and a woman coming together in front of God and others in holy matrimony. So that's my concept. So Mel, what's your concept of marriage?
Yeah, pretty similar. It's an institution, created by God, and I think his original mind when it comes to marriage was three purposes. I think it was for companionship, for procreation, and salvation. If you break those down with companionship, you remember in Genesis 2:18, he told Adam, well, he said it's not good for a man to be alone. And any man in the room, I think we can clearly identify with that. We don't make the best decisions when we're by ourselves, but we need someone to, so he created a helper. He created someone that can partner with him to complete the task. Adam was already working, but he wants to complete the task. God looked upon every other species, every other animal, and realized they had a partner. Adam was the only thing left without that. So companionship is amazing. I think a healthy marriage should be a refuge from the rest of the world, where couples can find comfort and support in one another. And procreation, contrary to society's belief, I think God designed marriage so couples could have children, and raise them in loving homes. There's a lot of things out there. I don't know how far you guys want to go, but Victoria didn't give a disclaimer to everybody. I'm a pretty blunt guy. So I'm gonna try my best today to be on my best behavior, but I gotta call it like it is. We have a lot of agendas being pushed in our society. And one of those is that the nuclear family is just a concept. It's not really the best, idea for children. If anyone who comes from a single parent household or a household that was predominantly raised or led by one or the other parent, that imbalance, creates some traumas, for you as a child. If you look up statistics, it's people from single parent households, they're more likely to commit crimes, more likely to go to prison. So you can go on and on with those statistics, but the nuclear family was God's design. He had that in mind when he thought of marriage. And then for our salvation, every marriage has a godly purpose. It's hard for me to comprehend anyone that's getting married and doesn't have God in mind, doesn't have the purpose for their marriage in mind. When God brings two people together, it's to fulfill a divine purpose, and also it's to hold each other accountable, when it comes to your relationship with God. I officiate weddings at times, and even in my own marriage, I talk about a lot. Hey, this is 3-strand rope, between the man, the wife, and God. God has to be the center of everything. And with the 3-strand rope, that cannot be broken. So if God's not the center of your relationship, if you're not holding each other accountable, in my opinion, you're not fulfilling the purpose of marriage. And honestly, the purpose of those 3 things I mentioned it's been lost. It's been lost for a long time here, but it's definitely been lost in America. And if we want to be honest, it's been lost a lot in our community, the Black community. Yeah. Think about our ancestors. What got them through slavery? What got them through the civil rights era? It was God, but it was also family. It was marriage. Our siblings, our ancestors, they couldn't legally get married, but they still did it anyway. They still jumped that broom. So we've lost that purpose. We've lost that in our community. I think that's something today can help highlight how much that purpose matters, and I think we can all fulfill our godly purpose with the spouse?
Growing up in where I'm from in Miami, I grew up in a household, not a 2-parent household, but a single parent household where it was love, but it wasn't love. So as I'm in marriage now, it's hard for me to, I didn't have my father. So for one, it's hard for me to, it was hard for me to open up to another guy when I had dad issues and I had mom issues. So I didn't have that love. So I always had that wall up for trauma because of being neglected, rejected, and things like that. So in my marriage, I just always wanted to have love, a healthy marriage. And what came to mind earlier today was Matthew 9:6. What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder.
My concept of marriage, like I said, every marriage is different for each person that's going through anything. Once you put God first, the first thing you got to do is put God first, and then you got to walk together as one, like as equals. You cannot sit there and say, I'm gonna put him on the pedestal or I'm gonna put her on the pedestal without explaining what your needs are too. You understand what I'm saying? It's an equal walk. So one thing I have learned is that I already been married once before. And one thing you will learn is that each year, each second, you and your husband, I'm telling you from experience, this might help you and your husband. Y'all make sure y'all understand each other, no matter what's going on. When the world is on y'all shoulders, y'all have to shut down, shut everybody out, and talk to each other and learn each other. You get what I'm saying? Because what you want and what he want, it might be the same thing. But when you have other people shouting over you and just assuming what you want, it'll pull y'all farther apart. So that's when God come in, and then that's when you and God and as a couple as one, y'all unite and stay equally yoked no matter what. And you pray for each other. You get what I'm saying? You pray that God give y'all strength and energy to push forward. You pray and ask him for your guidance, for his guidance, okay? That's from experience, because one thing I have learned is that over the years, you are going to change. Over the years, he's going to change. So if you never network with each other, bump everybody around. Y'all have to learn how to shut down and come one for each other. Because one thing about it, and two things for sure, from being around each other, whatever his pain is your pain. Whatever your pain is his pain. Because if it's not that, then you don't understand. Y'all must be not equally yoked. One of y'all must be not loving each other equally. You get what I'm saying? So you don't have an opportunity once you get married to choose what you want to agree on and what you don't. What you have to do is come together as one and just do the thing. If you're gonna go, you go big. You shut down, you get in a corner, get in the room, get in a safe spot, and you and him, y'all talk it out. You get what I'm saying? Because only y'all know exactly how y'all feel.
So if I have a concept of marriage, it's one word, it would be called epoxy. Okay, epoxy is the type of glue where it comes in two tubes. You have two different parts. One is called a hardener, the other is called a resin. But when you put them together, they cease to have their own identity and they become one and far stronger than they were individually. If one person is blue and the other person is yellow, when they come together, they now have a new identity called green. Okay, and so one of the curses that came to Eve was in her fallen state, your desire will be to rule over your husband, God said, but he will rule over you. And it's simply an order, a structure, okay? So, but the reality on the ground is we have to, no matter what the plan and purpose of God was perfect, we have to deal with the reality of where we are. So we bring love, we reach out to the Holy Spirit. So Dr. Gary Chapman has a great book, you might have heard about it, The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's quality time, there's physical touch, which happens to be mine, acts of service, giving gifts. And so if you're really going to love somebody, you're going to have to learn their love language, because the two of you came together. Now, here's often what the problem is. 99% of the people getting married have no concept of what marriage means.
Yeah.
So they enter into it in eros. I like the way you look on the dance floor when you was doing the bus stop, backing it up and doing whatever. Okay, you caught my eye. Now I spend a little time with you. That's called phileo. So we're starting to get the new friends. We get friends. We get a little something together. We're going and whatnot. Okay. But the problem is, it's none of those. Marriage is agape, total giving, total. And in a marriage counseling class, at one time, a young man and young woman, we were talking, I was with the pastor, and they were asking various questions, and they were in the blush of love, and they were fluttering. And every question you ask them, oh yeah, he likes this, and I like that, and whatnot. So they let me ask a question. I looked at her and I said, excuse me, how many times can he cheat on you before you quit?
Oh, Lord. That's good.
Ooh,
That's good.
man, her head about spun around it. Like, what, okay, look. So we want forgiveness from God. But if I don't know that it's agape, if I don't know that I'm going to have to open myself up to be hurt, that I'm going to have to open myself to give up everything I possibly have, then I need to stay away from marriage, because it's going to become a tug of war. It's going to become, well, my daddy did this, or my mama did that,
Yeah.
or what we're having. But this is a literal dying to self. It's sad that other than choosing your God, which is the most important thing, the second most important choice you're ever going to make is who your mate is. Okay, and so we pay more attention to companies. Two companies coming together. You're going to have a merger. You want to see their balance sheet, their profit loss statement. You want to go through. Let me see. Look at your dad. Or was it Percy Fled? Somebody said, "Take time to know her. It's not an overnight thing." Mama said, "Take time to know her." I mean, time. So in this rush society,
Yeah.
we don't slow down
That's
for
good.
any of that. And so we miss the maker's original mold. But sitting here today, listening to the hearts of people and hear what they're going through, I realize that there's so much. I mean, this is so healing for us to look at the reality of what's on the ground. The people really, really, I believe the people, especially these two newlyweds, they truly, truly love one another. And it's really up to the church, to come around, and this is the answer. That we can share these things, because I might have said something nobody's heard before.
Yeah.
But I come from a different place, but I see it as God saying, no, I need you to be over here, so they can maybe hear it and touch it for the first time, and let them walk on their own pace.
That's good. That's